Hello all, welcome to my channel on Android. Today I will demonstrate you concept of action bar and drawer layout. How to use the drawer layout and action bar. Let's start developing a project. First of all, you can click on start a new Android Studio project. Then you can choose the empty activity. Give the name. Here you can give the name that is action bar with drawer demo. Here you can choose your platform and then you can click on finish. Let me specify what I want to do here in my project. I want that I want to put one drawer over here and number of fragments. A drawer means whenever user click on action bar is the thing that is available on the top of any emulator. Whenever you execute this application, you can simply identify that what action bar is. So first of all, I'm just executing my application. Meanwhile, I'm just making changes to this activity main. Here you can show the layout decoration. Here you can simply click your hello world and you can just click on delete. Meanwhile, my application is launched. Here, let me specify what action bar is. See this primary dark with action bar drawer demo. This line, this bar is known as a action bar. Whenever you will want to implement something over here, you need a one method, that is on option item selected. I want that one toggle button over here, right? So let's start with first designing. So I'm just moving to this designing portion. Here in designing portion, first of all I will change my root layout. So here you can just change your root layout by changing the name. So I'm just changing the root layout from constraint layout to drawer layout. Simply you can write DRAW and it will give you a suggestion. You can just choose the drawer layout. Once you choose the drawer layout, the first task is just give the name of your layout. So I'm just giving the ID to this drawer layout and the ID is drawer. Once you define the ID over here, now it's a task to define the two controls over here. One is definitely here I want to put one list view over here, but see this list view should be displayed on top of this drawer. So whenever you want that multiple layouts, multiple controls should be displayed on the top of the layout. For that the best layout is known as a frame layout. So you here you can just uh, add the frame layout with here you can add the width, that is match parent, height, that is also a match parent, and let me give the name of my frame, that is again a simple frame. Whenever you define your frame layout, now it's a time to define the list view. So here you can define the width and height of your list view. I am just giving the width, that is 150 dp density in pixel, and here you can define the height of your list view, and that is match parent. Here also you can just define the ID. I'm just giving the ID of the list view, that is list view. Now you can say that this list view should be displayed on my layout gravity. So here on start of layout gravity, so you can just simply add one property, that is android colon layout underscore gravity. It will not give you suggestion, but it is the true property. Here you can just write start. Once you define this, now it's a time to define the background of your list view. But I will not define the background. First I'm just showing you here from main activity. Just write a simple line of code. In main activity, what we need to do, we need just support action bar. So I'm what I'm writing, see here you can just write support action bar dot set display home up as up enabled true. Whenever you define this as a true, what effect you can find over here in your emulator, that is here in top of your action bar. You can just see there is a one button that is related to arrow. This button is added over here, but still I'm not finding any toggle button over here. I'm not finding my list view over here. So very simple, here you can add your toggle button. So I'm just declaring my toggle button, toggle, that is action bar drawer toggle, and you can just say that late initialized this. Once you define this variable, now it's time to initialize that particular variable. So you can just write a toggle is equal to action bar drawer toggle. This is the constructor of action bar drawer toggle, and here so many parameters are there. Here you can first say that this drawer toggle should be available in my current activity, so I'm just writing this. Then you just need to give the name of your drawer layout. See here, I added a drawer layout. At that time I given the id, that is drawer. So simply you can just write here r dot id dot drawer. Now it's a time to define the what you want to do in case of open and close, and for that you need a string resource over here. So simply you can just move to project resource values, and here in strings.xml you can add the string. Simple, for example, I'm adding the string for open tag, and that is open. Same way you can just add for the close string, you can just add the close for close. So whenever you want to perform open and closing the drawer, what you want to give the name symbol, it will be available in r.string.open and r.string.close. Once this toggle is done, see here what happened to this. I'm not getting here r.id.drawer. Why? Because you can directly simple write here drawer, and it is available directly in Kotlin. So simply you just need to write drawer. Now you can just execute your application, and you can just check what happened to this. Toggle is initialized, but it will not say you any effect over here until and unless you implement one method, that is on option item selected. This is the method that you need to implement in case of whenever you are dealing with action bar. So here I'm just writing one if condition. If toggle dot on option item selected, and I am here passing that if the toggle is selected, then return the true. See here, now you can just check your application will do what. See, very simple I did over here. Whenever you click over here, see, list view is opening, but the color is gray, so I'm not able to find that the list view is opening or not. So very simple, here you just need to provide one more property in your list view, and that property is you just need to define the color. So I'm just writing here background color. I'm writing here FFF. It means it will be the background will be the white. Whenever you do this, see, you can just check the effect of your effect of this color property over here. You can just see my list view is opening. Whenever you open this, see, background of your activity is gray, and by default the color of this list view also gray. So if you not define the color over here in list view, then it will look the same. So I just need to differentiate, to differentiate both of this concept. I just need to define the different color over here. So whenever you click over there, but see, my toggle button is not changing over here. You can just check over here in this arrow button, my toggle button is not changed, right? So if you want to change the toggle button, so very simple, you just need to provide two things over here. One is you just need to define that drawer, that is the name of your layout, drawer dot set drawer listener is the function, and here in drawer listener you can pass your toggle, and toggle dot Sync state is the function, and it will do what? It will change your toggle button whenever you click over here. Say now this is my toggle button. Whenever I click over here, it is changing. Whenever I click again, the button is changed. See, this concept is known as syncing the state, right? Now I want a list view over here. So list view is already there, but I want the data over here. So very simple. Here you can add the data as much as you want to add over here. Very simple way you can add over here. For example, let me write here variable units is equal to array of. Here you can just write unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5. If you write like this, my variable, this is the variable number of arguments, so it will be assigned to your units array. Once your array is ready, now it's a time to define the adapter. So here you can just initialize your array adapter variable, and here in array adapter you can define that it is a collection of string. Array adapter having the constructor, it has the different number of arguments. Here I'm just passing that my context is current, and here now you can define the layout. I'm just using the inbuilt layout android.r.layout.simple drop down item one line. Here you can define your own layout also. Here you can define your own layout with the card view also, and I'm just adding this units. My adapter is ready. I just need to do what? ListView dot adapter is equal to adapter, and now you can execute your application. Once you execute your application, you can just check over here in this emulator. See this unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, this all are available over here. Now whenever I click on unit 1, I want output over here in this activity, and now we don't need to do any activity over here. We don't need to implement more activities over here. Whenever user click on this unit 1, I need to display here something, and for that you need to take the fragments. So let's start with the fragments. Here you can just right click on your app, new, and you can select the fragment, and you can choose the fragment blank. I'm just giving the name of my fragment, that is unit 1, but take care over here, you never select the factory methods if you don't want to use in your project. Create layout XML, it is fine. Then you can just click on finish. This is my unit 1 fragment. Once you define your unit 1 fragment, you can just right click on your project, new, and you can add one more fragment. Let me click on fragment blank, and I'm giving the unit 2 fragment, right? This name is not valid. You can just write like this, unit 2. And do you want to create the factory methods? No, you can just click on finish again. Now you can take one more fragment over here, right click, new, fragment, fragment blank. I'm giving the name of my fragment, that is unit 3. Do you want to add factory methods? No, you can just click on finish. Let me add two more, so I'm adding one more fragment over here, and that is related to fragment blank. Again unit 4. Do you want factory methods? No, I don't want the factory methods, so you can just add simply that particular fragment. Again you can add a new fragment and fragment blank, unit 5. Do you want to add the factory methods? No, I don't want to add the factory methods, and you can click on finish. Once your all these fragments are added, you can just check that my all these fragments are added. Now it's a time to add all these fragments inside my main activity. So I'm just moving to every fragment, but in every fragment file I need to define definitely different things. So this is my fragment unit 1. Let me move to design first. Here by default in every fragment layout is the frame layout, so you can just change your layout and you can just make it here constraint layout, so it will be the as the same as you did up to today. By default you are using the constraint layout. Right now you can add the text view over here in your fragment, so I'm just adding the text view, and here you can click on infer the constraint. Now you can define text style, text size, and different things. For example, I'm giving the text size that is 30 sp. Now you can give the text color. For example, it is primary dark, and here you can just simply write what you want into unit 1. So I'm just writing that Kotlin basics. Right here you can define the style, and that style related to text, so you can just write text style that is bold. Right, this is what about you said you set into your text view. Once your text view is set into unit 1, now you can just copy the necessary parameters, necessary properties that I am using in my each fragment unit. So you can just move to fragment 2 now, and here in fragment 2 I am doing the same thing that I did in the unit 1. Right, so here you can change your layout, that is constraint layout. You can remove this text view, and here you can add your own text view, and here in your own text view you can click on infer constraint, and now you can change the content. Instead of Kotlin basics, I'm just adding here Android components. Right, so this is what about the unit number 2. Now you can move to fragment unit 3. Again you can just click on design, and you can change your layout. Instead of frame layout, I'm just adding that I want the constraint layout. I don't want the text view over here. You can take your own text view, and you can just click on the infer constraint. Once you click on the infer constraint, again you can choose the important property that you want to set over here. I'm changing the text, and this is related to now SQLite database and content provider. Right, here you can change the font, or you can say that I want this in a new separate line, so it will be available into separate line. So SQLite database and content provider, this is the title of my text of unit number 3. Here in unit number 4 also you can do the same thing that you did earlier. Instead of frame layout, you can just check constraint layout, and I don't want the text view over here. You can take your own text view directly, you can paste over here, and you can just click on infer constraint, and again instead of text I just adding the important property that I want here. Here you can just write like that, a location based slash an action bar slash an animation slash an gradient. Right, so these are the topics. Here you can say slash n menus slash n dialogues. That's it. So these are the topics of unit number 4. Right, you can move drag and drop also. Now it's a time to define the topic of unit number 5. So here again instead of frame layout, I'm just making here constraint layout. Here you can just change your text view, and you can add your own text view over here. Once you add your own text view, you can just click on infer constraint, and then you can add your properties, that whatever you want to add over here. I'm just writing here audio slash and video slash and camera slash and SMS slash and telephony. Right, etc. is the topic of unit number 5. You can directly just drag and drop this concept also. Right, now once your all 5 fragments are defined over here, now it's a time to add all these fragments inside activity. So very simple, you can just click on your main activity.kotlin. Whenever user click on list view, I want to replace the my particular fragment in that particular activity. So you can just write call your function, that is a list view dot set on item click listener. Here in lambda, I is the position. So here you can simply write like this, when I is the position. So whenever this position, it means if the zero position is there, I want to load the unit number 1. So for zero position, what you want to load, you can just write like here, support fragment manager. In Java it is get support fragment manager. In Kotlin you can directly write support fragment manager dot begin the transaction dot, you can just replace. Now in replace you need to provide the argument in which area you want to replace this. So in my drawer layout I given the name of my frame, that is a frame. So I'm just writing here r.id.frame. It means in my frame I want to replace which fragment, that is unit 1 that I defined over here in my current activity. So I'm just calling the unit 1. Write dot commit, you can write, and it will be added to your support fragment manager dot begin transaction dot replace and dot commit. It will add it to your particular value. But in when you want to perform this, very simple. If user click on first unit, then I want this unit, right? So you can just add 0 over here. Now it's a simple way. You can just copy paste your different position. 1 4 unit 2, 2 4 unit 3, 3 4 unit 4, 4 4 unit 5, and here you just need to replace the fragment value, and in each fragment I already set the design. If you think over here, see, this is my fragment of unit 1. Here I set the Kotlin basic, and here in fragment 2 I said that Android component. If you click on unit 2 Kotlin file, it is adding the fragment of unit 2, and that I am adding over here in my main activity. So if you execute this application, it will simply do what? Whenever you execute your application, it will add the list view. Whenever you click on list view, it will add the support fragment manager, and using that you can simply just see. Let me click on unit number 3. It is adding that SQLite DB and content provider. If you click on unit number 5, it is adding audio video camera. But what happens, see, whenever you click on any list view item over here, my drawer is not getting closed. So if you want that drawer is also get closed, so simple, when user click over here, you can just write drawer dot close drawer is the function. Close drawers is the function. I want to perform this. After when and before when, you can just mention inside your list view click. So let me execute this. Whenever user click over here, for example, you can see that unit number 5, see, my toggle is closed. Unit number 4, see, location based action bar animation gradient. Let me click on unit number 2, see, my toggle button is closed. But if you see carefully, whenever you execute your application, by default there are no any fragment is attached with this action bar. Suppose if you want that whenever user click start any application, by default my unit 1 should be launched, so you can just add your this support manager fragment code over here in top, and then you can execute. Whenever you do like this, you can see very simple. By default unit 1 is attached with your fragment. And what is the biggest advantage of using this? If you click on back, you will come outside of your application. It means what? Fragment is attached to the activity. There is only one activity available in my application. This is the biggest advantage of this. Suppose if you want to add some control over here in fragment, so let me show you one simple example of this control. So let me add one button over here. Whenever user click on this button, I want to simply give the toast message, but for this some implementation is required, so I am adding this button. So you can just give the name of this button, that is click me. See, I explain you how to convert your fragment layout into constraint layout, but I not explain till today, till this time, that how to convert your fragment code, that is unit 1 Kotlin code, into code that you did previously, right? So very simple. This is my fragment unit 1. Here the name of the button is button. Now I want that button ID over here in unit 1, right? So very simple. If you want to access over here, first of all you need to do what? Here you need to write like this: variable v is equal to, you need to convert your inflator into view, and then you can return your view, return v. Once you did this, now in before returning your view, you can simply call your button. Now you cannot directly call your button, right? You just need to write like this: v dot button dot set on click listener. Whenever user click on this button, I want to put the toast. So you can just write, now you cannot write the context, application context, so you just need to write v dot context, and you can just put the message over here: Android is really interesting, toast dot length underscore long, and then you can call your method, that is so. Now you can just check. See, this is the way you can add your controls over here. You can simply do the same thing that you did all these things into activity, but in fragment Kotlin file you need to do what? You just need to return your inflator into view, and once you return it to the view, then you can perform it into your code. See here, by default this unit 1 is attached with my this particular drawer. You can click on unit 3, you can click on unit 4, and then you can move to unit number 1, and then you can test your click me. See here, the message is coming over here, that is Android is really interesting. This is the way you can implement your action bar with the drawer layout. That's it from my side. Thank you for listening me. If you like this video, then please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all.